Talking Shirts is presented in partnership with White Oak Cottage. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Hello, this is episode number 130 of Talking Shirts. I'm Mike from Hull KR Shirts, and today we're going to take a look around this 2023 alternate diamond shirt. Now, if you've been following Hull KR Shirts for a while, you may know that this is one of my favourite shirts. I think it's fantastic in the way that it combines a retro style and design with a modern sort of futuristic take, and I think it comes across really well in the design. It takes some traditional colours that we've used at Hull KR over the years, especially in terms of alternate kits with the navy and also the royal blue. Coupling that with the white and the red of our natural colourway, I just feel like it's a really, really good combination that brings up a really sort of striking design. And it's a shirt that, you know, a few years later, I still enjoy wearing. So yeah, the 2023 alternate diamond shirt. So this one here was worn by Shaun Kenny-Dowall, and he was worn against Castleford Tigers on the 21st of April. I've been able to photo match this shirt to that game. It wasn't the shirt that Shaun wore in his final Hull KR game in the playoff semi-final against Wigan Warriors at the DW Stadium. The alignment of the name and the number on the back of the shirt don't quite line up. Also, this shirt is a size large. Some of the shirts that I've got of Shaun Kenny-Dowall's in my collection are a size extra large, but I do also have a couple that are a size large as well. So Shaun clearly fluctuated between those two shirt sizes. That could be through choice, or it could just be through availability of what was available that needed printing up at that given moment. So yeah, it's definitely not the one that was worn against Wigan in the playoffs, but as I've said, it was most certainly worn against Castleford Tigers on the 21st of April. So yeah, cool little detail about that one there. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about the design. So the design comes from the away shirt from the 1991 to 1993 seasons. You may remember it as the Riding Bitter or John Smith's shirt. It did have two different sponsors on very similar shirts. And that shirt took green, orange and white diamonds and then formulated it in the way that it was. The club have then obviously looked at that design and readapted that for this sort of modern retake, and yeah, I think they've done an absolutely incredible job of that. The shirt obviously features all of its sort of additions in terms of brand partners, sponsors, manufacturer, maker, marker, club crest. All of those appear in white. They've been dye sublimated onto the front of the shirt, and they blend in quite well. I've mentioned in previous episodes, it blends in well to the point where it doesn't ruin the shirt, but it stands out enough that the brand partners are probably quite content with their logos appearing in that way. So it's a really, really good sort of combination for both sides where it's kind of non-offensive but still quite appealing. It's good. It's really, really good. No complaints from me there at all. We have also got the gel grit patches on the front. Again, we spoke, quite a lot about those. We've had eras where they didn't feature at all, but these are kind of a bit of a mainstay in this style now that we've seen sort of for the last sort of 4 or 5 years, although things have changed ever so slightly in 2025. Let's have a little look at this sleeve here. So as we look at this left sleeve as wearing, we've got Richardson's Food and Safety Consulting Limited. Mark's branding appeared throughout 23 and 24 on the plain shirts. That was dye sublimated. And then we have got University of Hull. That has been heat applied. It was heat applied in 23, dye sublimated in 24, and also dye sublimated in 2025 as well. The design elements of the front of the shirt, they feature quite strongly on the sleeve here. It's almost like a redo of the front of the shirt. Got some wonderful colour going on. There's a red diamond there, a navy one around the other side, some loose cotton and thread here. On this occasion, I didn't actually use this to help me photo match this shirt, but I have used a loose thread in the past, so things like that are really, really sort of helpful in terms of actually being able to photo match certain things. So yeah, and then we've got this elastane patch down here, the top stitch, and a little arced top stitch going on underneath there as well. So yeah, all sorts of little interesting intricacies to the side of that sleeve. Let's have a look at the other one. So on this side we've got Easy Buy, again that's been dye sublimated in, and then we have got the Betfred Super League competition patch. It's quite, there is just one here, it is just starting to peel ever so slightly there with a little bit of a fray, just where that white line comes across and meets the end point there. So yeah, but there isn't anything. There's no more under there. It's all clean in there because we've not had to use any sort of removal spray to remove the stickiness. Yeah, it's pretty sweet, pretty clean. So yeah, that's quite cool. Cool. Right then, so that's everything for the first half of this episode of Talking Jets. Join me back in about 30 seconds and we'll talk around the back and have a little chat about Shaun Kenny-Dowall.
White Oak Cottage is a 2-bedroom luxury holiday cottage set in the stunning Lincolnshire Wolds. It has 2 ensuite bedrooms, a hot tub, wood burner, Wi-Fi, electric vehicle charger and is pet friendly. It is ideally situated in the Wolds, yet only 15 miles from the coast and 25 miles from the historic city of Lincoln. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Welcome back to episode number 130 of Talking Shirts. Before the break, we was taking a tour around Shaun Kenny-Dowall's 2023 alternate diamond shirt, and now we're here with the reverse. So let's take a look around here. So we've got the Robin icon that has been dye sublimated in white. Very prevalent now across all of our shirts since the rebrand. I think it's growing on a lot of people. For the people that didn't particularly like it straight away, I've been having some sort of good conversations with people about it and sort of how it's making us adapt and allow different sort of retail opportunities, but also just having that sort of forethought to be able to sort of get to the market before a lot of other clubs as well could see us in good stead for the future, both sort of physically and financially as well, which is wonderful to see. We've got the Harrison Solway branding, again dye sublimated into the shirt in white, and then we have got the higher base branding on the back there as well. As you can see, we have got the diamond design continuing across the back of the shirt, although it does break up for a block for the name and number to be applied in the middle of those. So you will see that some of these diamonds have just been sort of completely cut out. I love the way that there isn't a sort of, it hasn't been designed with that in mind, it just completely finishes. I think that does really just sort of stipulify that that space is purely for the name and number. On this occasion, the surname Kenny-Dowall is actually too big to be fitted in the actual space. It does actually overlap into this part of the diamond here, and I think it'll probably be not far off on the other side as well. Not quite, but it definitely does make a contact point with the diamond on this side here. The other option would have been to have Kenny and then Dowell underneath it, but then that would have pushed the number down too far. So, you know, they have just kind of gone just slightly over into this diamond space here. Obviously these names are sent to the club now in sort of blocks, name blocks, so it is kind of the spacing's equal all the way across. Obviously the number 4 has been added sort of separately. It's almost central but not quite central to the middle. If you think this is the middle of the shirt here, where it comes down there, that's not quite the middle point of the number, obviously where it's at its widest. So it's not quite central, but it's not a million miles off. It's okay as it is there. So, Shaun Kenny-Dowall, what can't be said about this guy? Absolutely wonderful human being. Always makes time to have a chat when the opportunity arises. Quite open to having discussions and things, which is really, really good. Really nice guy. He's a wonderful ambassador for the club. He made 93 appearances for the Robins in the 4 seasons that he played for the club. Those 93 appearances, he would have probably have got to 100 had he not had the COVID outbreak of less games in 2020 and 2021. That did sort of hamper him a little bit. Very rarely missed a game through injury. Obviously, he did miss 4 games through suspension for something completely stupid that the RFL placed upon him with that ban. That was very annoying. So looking at the fact that he should have really got past that 100 sort of game mark for the club, which, you know, I know it's only numbers at the end of the day, but, you know, this guy represented the club with, you know, such great esteem as a captain, as a player, as a leader. You know, it would have been nice for him to have sort of got past that 100 game mark for the club. In those 93 games, he did score 25 tries, which, you know, nicely levels up to the 100 point mark for the club as well. As I said, his final game did come away from home at the Wigan Warriors. in that Super League playoff semi-final in 2023. A difficult day for the Robins, and one that I'm sure that he wouldn't have wanted to bow out that way. I'm sure he'd have liked to have gone out in the same way that Matt Parcell did a year later in the grand final. But sadly, both of them didn't leave with any sort of silverware, which is a shame for the pair of them, really, when you look at the two careers that they've had, especially with what they've been able to deliver to the Rovers. He's a current coach. He's an assistant now at the club. Straight out of his playing days, pathways, emerging talent coach, and obviously now he's classed as an assistant coach after sort of the departure of Brett Delaney. So I can just see that this guy is probably going to go on from strength to strength. He's the reason why Jared Warrior-Hargreaves joined the club, and fingers crossed, that'll be a really sort of fruitful partnership. This guy, hopefully he sticks around for many years to come, and you never know, maybe one day he could be the head coach at Hull KR once he's plied his trade working under Willie Peters. You never quite know what that future might hold. So yeah, as I mentioned in part one, this shirt was worn on the road against Castleford Tigers. I was able to use the letter placement on the back of this shirt to be able to photo match it to that shirt to that game, should I say. It's not always an easy task to be able to do that. It's sometimes dependent on the placement and things. Some are easier than others. Sometimes two shirts might be almost identical. I remember Steve, the cash shirt collector, he spoke to me in the past about having two shirts that were identical. He had both of them in his possession, and the alignment was almost identical. I want to say it was Greg Eden, the player, but don't quote me on that, where the alignment was almost the same on both shirts, so it would have been nigh on impossible to kind of say which was which. So sometimes you say that it was worn in this game, and the evidence might point that way, but there is always that slim chance that might not actually be that shirt. But I'm fairly confident enough to say that this one is, because the other one, which he wore at Wigan, the placement of the alignment is completely different. So that does make that task sort of that a little bit easier. But again, it's only I'll call it a good guide with an educated sort of opinion, opposed to it being like a 100% yes. It's very rare that you can actually get into sort of that circumstance with it. But yeah, that's been your tour of Shaun Kenny-Dowall's 2023 Diamond Alternate shirt. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe if you have. I really appreciate all the support that you guys give me. It does not go unnoticed at all. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to check back in another couple of weeks, where I'll be back with episode number 131, where we're going to take a look at a shirt from 2008 that was worn in Stanley Jean's testimonial. Thank you very much for watching. Speak to you all soon. Bye for now.